Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to talk about skill-based matchmaking. This has been a hot topic ever since it was added to Fortnite in Season 10, but I think with the most recent update, it was actually toned down or potentially removed from the game completely. In this video, I'm going to be playing solo squads, and I end up getting 20 kills in this match, and I'm playing pretty aggressive the entire time, trying to find as many players as I can, and you'll see that none of these players are good at all. Most of them are quite bad, and I'm not trying to be rude to them or whatever, but it's just like there's a clear shift in the difficulty of how the lobbies were for all of chapter 2 and how they are right now. So pay attention to that, see how easy these kills are. And before this update, pretty much every player I fought was at least average. There would be good players, but there was very rarely really bad players that I ran into in game. And as you see, most of this gameplay, most of these people are not very good at the game. If you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, informative, whatever, please remember to give it a like and subscribe if you would like to see more. I post Fortnite content on this channel very regularly, and my Twitch will be linked down in the description. I stream there every day. But first of all, I want to know what you think of skill-based matchmaking. If you think it has been reduced in the most recent update, let me know. It's definitely most noticeable in squads. I actually run into bots quite a bit in squads. I played a little bit of solo squads on stream, and then this game I just hopped on to get some solo squads clips for this video and happened to get a 20 bomb pretty much accidentally. So I think that it's definitely gone in squads at the very least. I think squads is such an easy mode now in comparison to solos or duos. Solos, I'm not really sure if it's still there yet. The lobbies do seem easier to me than they did at the start of the week before this update came out. So I think there's potential that it was removed in solos or at least tweaked in solos as well. One of the easiest ways to tell whether or not skill-based matchmaking is in the game or not is how many players are alive in a given match. And this might seem counterintuitive, but once I added skill-based matchmaking, my lobbies were really dead because most good players, at this point in time, the game's been out for 3 years. People don't care about wins as much. Most good experienced players play to get high kill games and to get clips or whatever, you know? And so with skill-based matchmaking, a lot of the lobbies on the higher end of things would just be completely dead by the time first zone hits. Everyone would hot drop and fight. And then by the time first zone hits, there would be between 10 and 20 people left. Recently, I've been getting first zone sometimes with even high 20s players remaining. And this isn't drastically different, but a shift of 10 players is pretty noticeable. Instead of going from 15 players when first zone hits, you go to 25, and then at second, you still have double digits rather than having 3 or 4 like you would have before. I think the player count in certain phases of the game is definitely noticeable, especially when this season added an extra minute to first zone. So last season had skill-based matchmaking as well, but there was a minute less for first zone. So prior to first zone hitting, there would be a minute less than there is now. So for our lobbies to have even more players in first zone now than they did last season with an extra minute to kill people for us now, it's definitely something has changed. And I've also seen a lot of clips from other streamers or other content creators of them running into bots in squads, and I've heard other reports from people when I tweeted this or talked about this on stream. It definitely seems like something that has been removed from squads. Solos seem easier to me. I actually haven't played duos since the most recent update came out, but let me know what you think in the comments below, what your experience has been. In the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about just skill-based matchmaking, so enjoy the gameplay. Like I said, it's a 20 kill game. Remember to leave a like, but if you were just here for that news update or whatever, that ends now. And now I'm just going to talk about the concept of skill-based matchmaking and what I think of it. So this was added late in Season 10, which a lot of people don't know. They think it was just added in Chapter 2, but it was actually added in Season 10, and they added it game mode by game mode. They added it in solos first, and then they added it in duos, and then they finally added it in squads, which makes me kind of think they can tune this on a game mode per game mode basis, you know? And playing solo squads like I was in this video, it wasn't like I was having bad players in my game to tank the lobby. I was playing by myself. I have a lot of wins, I have a lot of kills, I have a lot of playtime, I'm a high level this season. Any way you want to look at stats, I have pretty good stats. So it's likely if there is skill-based matchmaking that I'll get pretty hard lobbies. But with this, how things have been recently, my games have been much easier than they were previously. And after playing with skill-based matchmaking for 6 months, I think I can kind of tell when it is and isn't there, or the quality of players I'm playing against, how good or bad they are, you know? And I think skill-based matchmaking is good for the game if they want Fortnite to grow. Lots of people dislike it altogether. Good players, bad players. I don't really know a single person who is happy that skill-based matchmaking is in the game. I personally am kind of indifferent. I understand why it's there. Obviously, it makes it harder for me to get good gameplays and entertaining games on stream, but I understand why it's in the game because the game has been out for 3 years, you know? Like, if you've been playing this game since it got popular, you've been playing Fortnite for almost 2 to 3 years. So you have a lot of experience. Someone who just gets on the game today is probably going to get destroyed and then not want to play the game anymore. And when the game can't acquire new players, the game will eventually die out because not everybody is going to enjoy playing the game forever. Once people have played for a year or two, they're going to move on, you know, and go to other games that are more like fresh and exciting, like Warzone, like Valorant, whatever the new and exciting game is. That's what they're going to go to. So Fortnite has to be able to acquire new players, and skill-based matchmaking is one of the ways in which they can kind of protect the new players and stop them from just getting stomped out completely by the experienced players as soon as they hop on the game. I think the best way to do skill-based matchmaking would be to protect these newer and really, really bad players, put them in their own lobbies with AI, and then have the rest of the community just play matches together and get in matches together. One thing I didn't mention before is actually that my ping has been horrible, or not horrible, but once I switched to PC at the start of this year, I got 0 ping from the end of season 1 until the start of season 2. I pretty much had 0 ping. Once this season came out, I was usually on like 20 to 30, which I know it sounds very good for some of you, but that's clearly an increase from 0. And now since this update, my ping has been back to really low single digit or 0 ping most of the time. So I don't know how skill-based matchmaking affects connection, but there's definitely a possibility there. I'm not really sure like how that works, but yeah, I think the best way to do skill-based matchmaking is to have, let's say you give everybody a skill rating 1 to 10. This is probably not how they do it, but just for the example, let's say you put the 1 to the 3 players in their own lobby with AI and then have 4 to 10 in terms of skill level all pair with each other just depending on server and who searches at a given time, whatever. I think that's the best way to have skill-based matchmaking to protect the newer players and make Fortnite something like exciting that they can play, but also not just prevent them from ever learning. Because if you have these new players in their own lobbies forever and they never really like graduate out of them and get into the normal lobbies, everybody's experience with the game is going to be very different, you know? There is no average Fortnite experience because the higher skilled lobbies play out very differently from the medium skilled lobbies, which play out very differently from the low skilled lobbies. And it's hard to discuss the game when everybody's games play out drastically different, on top of the fact that they have arena in the game, so it kind of doesn't really make sense to have skill-based matchmaking in pubs when you have arena, and then also balance arena differently from pubs. And say, for the example of Siphon, they took it out of pubs but left it in arena because they felt it had place in competitive matches but not the non-competitive matches, right? And then they went and turned pubs into competitive matches. Like, the whole system has kind of just been really strange recently. So I think that there's definitely some changes they can make there. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this topic. I'm really eager to hear what your experience has been on the most recent update. Thanks for watching. Remember to give the video a like, and I will see you guys another time.